Shalom Alochon. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today, I have the pleasure of once again introducing you to Assyrian Advisors. And we are going to have a wonderful conversation to get to know the wonderful benefits of Assyrian Advisors through the founder tonight. And his name is Bruneil Chamaki. So Bruneil, it's actually been 2 years from now. We were here, I remember I was pregnant, and you had a pretty big decision to make because you were applying for law school. So before we take a deep dive into understanding and learning more about Assyrian Advisors, could you tell us a little bit about your background and what really prompted you to want to spearhead Assyrian Advisors?
Sure, yeah. So it was like late 2017 when we started, although it says established 2018, that's when we really got established.
Okay.
And I was looking to apply to law school. I had worked in finance before that. I worked at Oracle and Sterling and Lilly, and I'd studied accounting before that. So I was pretty set on doing finance, but some things came up and I realized that I wanted to do that more. My sister's a lawyer. We have a lot of lawyers in the family. So it was just kind of like the next logical thing to do. And I thought I would like that type of work better. Mm-hmm. When I decided I wanted to go to law school, I'd reached out to a couple of Assyrians. One of them is Hannibal Travis. He went to Harvard Law for law school, and he was magna cum laude. He's a brilliant guy. He's actually my cousin from my father's side.
Oh, wonderful.
And he's written a bunch of books on the Assyrian genocide and other Assyrian things. So very much in tune with Assyrian stuff. And then separately, I had communicated quite a bit with Elmer Abo, who has literally every degree, JD, MD, MBA,
PhD.
I don't know what else is left, Elmer. So yeah, he's a brilliant guy. He's also very helpful. So very happy to have had him in my corner. My point is that at the time when I was applying to law school, I wanted to basically field opinions and get advice from people who had done what I wanted to do. And they were Assyrian, so I felt like they understood me better than other people. And there are other sources like consulting groups that you pay a large sum of money to, and they give you advice to help you get into top graduate schools.
Right.
I had these Assyrians to help me. So my thought was, after I'd started getting these this good news, I'm getting to all these top schools, why should people have to pay for this? And also Assyrian folks, and also we have a community of highly educated,
brilliant minds.
Brilliant Assyrians that are willing to give their time up and give that advice to Assyrian youth. So I thought, all right, let's band together some of these people and have them advise Assyrian youth. So that was kind of the origin of it.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. We also last time kind of spoke about, like I mentioned earlier, getting accepted to law school. So now you're in law school, and I know you're getting straight A's, and I bet you there's a lot of law firms coming and knocking at your door. So what are the next steps for you? Have you been able to interview into a law firm, or do you have something set aside? What are the next steps in Bruneil's career?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to get into a number of top law firms. I ended up recently signing with Kirkland & Ellis to do private equity mergers and acquisitions.
Wow.
And it's the best firm for that specific thing, and it's exactly what I wanted. So just, I don't know, incredibly blessed and happy to have gotten that. So I'll be starting in San Francisco, and we'll see what happens with that. That's
wonderful. And maybe you can give some interviewing tips for other fellow Assyrians, right?
Absolutely.
That want to get into their dream law firm. That's wonderful. Can you speak a little bit about the Assyrian Advisors, the whole program? What exactly is the criteria to become an advisor? I'm sure you have a very high standard. I see every time I go into your website, I see you've added on wonderful, accomplished individuals. But what are you really weeding out? What's your standard, or what are certain metrics that maybe have to be met to have someone become a quote advisor?
Assyrian advisor, yeah. So like this is where it can get challenging, right? Like being able to select the right people, and the people are what builds the organization. That's the most important thing. So picking the right people is crucial.
Yes.
We have a criteria. So if you go to AssyrianAdvisors.com/FAQ, you'll be able to see like an enumerated list of like what you need to do to qualify, or what you need to have to qualify.
Right.
I think the first thing is like you have to embrace the Assyrian heritage, and then what follows that is you should have a graduate degree or be in graduate school. But we have exceptions to that. If you're at a top university, not graduate program, but undergraduate program, we will make exceptions for that. We have a few students like that, like Zach, for instance, who went to MIT and like graduated from the top of his class in physics. Some kids who go to UC Berkeley. There are people who are in just undergrad who've also who are at top schools
and up and coming professionals.
Yeah, exactly. They're on track to become like professionals.
Yeah.
So that's one exception to like the graduate. You're in grad school or you graduated from grad school expectation or criteria.
Yes.
The other one is even if you went to a common school, that's fine insofar as you've done something exceptional for Assyrians. So like that could be you started your own Assyrian organization, or you've done certain volunteer work that is exceptional. We will also accept people like that as advisors, but the general preference is you're either in graduate school or you've graduated from grad school and you're working as a professional. And
that you have a willingness and a heart to give back to the Assyrian youth in our community, because a lot of the professionals here are doctors, attorneys, and they could be making anywhere for a couple $100s, anywhere to thousands of dollars per hour. And for them to set that time apart and really invest in another Assyrian youth and another Assyrian life to get, to have a partnership where they're really growing too. So I commend you on that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's like, I think people often don't think about how many hours our advisors are like, they've got full-time jobs. They're professionals, they're engineers, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're in the medical industry, like a medical physicist or whatever. Like these are difficult things to do and their time is limited. And also like often these folks are making, quite a bit of money per hour. Absolutely. So what the benefit is and what they're volunteering is their time and their experience. Like that advice is not free advice, right? They're giving it to Assyrian kids for free because they want to help them. But like the value prop there is like you've got a lawyer who makes $800 an hour or whatever. They're helping an Assyrian kid with their applications and getting into law school. Like that's a very significant contribution from those professionals. So again, we're really happy to have such nationalistic and willing advisors to help our youth. Yes,
no, definitely. So what would need to happen for, say for myself, I want to get into law school. How could you help me? What do I need to do to reach out to one of your advisors? Can you kind of explain those steps?
Sure, happy to. So first thing is like you'd probably be following us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or have seen us on our website. That's often like what happens is a parent will tell a kid, an aunt will tell a kid, or the kids will speak amongst themselves, or the youth will speak amongst themselves.
Sure.
They'll find us, they'll go to our website, or they'll message us sometimes even through social media outlets or LinkedIn. And they'll send us an email and say, hey, I'm looking for help. You said you want to go to law school. So they'd say, we'd respond and we'd say, what are you interested in with respect to like your legal career, and to narrow it down a bit to find the right advisors for you. Because we have a bunch of lawyers, say.
That's right.
If you want to do something else, right? If you wanted to be engineer or whatever, like we'd find someone else who's done that.
In that sector. So like, for example, if they're a chemical engineer, you're going to maybe partner them up with another successful chemical engineer.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's what they want to do. Like you'll find an advisor that does that thing. So we would connect them through email. Like we send out an introductory email and they they connect, we ask them to carve out time, about 30 minutes to an hour to speak. And we ask the advisee, like the person asking for help, to get like 10 or so questions prepared in advance.
Okay.
And they'll, have that phone call, discuss it with the advisor, discuss what they need help with, and the advisor will, give them what they need, the advisee what they need. And if they need a follow-on, he'll help out like in the future. Like, let's say you're applying to law school and you need help with your personal statement.
Okay.
Like, the advisor will talk to you about your personal statement, but then what follows is they'll revise it for you, or they'll say,
wow,
change it in these ways, or they'll say, also, do you want help with your diversity statement? Or maybe your LSAT wasn't good enough, you need to do this, and then we'll go back and we'll help you with your personal statement, whatever it might be.
Or another item could be maybe to build up a resume builder would be, hey, so-and-so firm this summer is looking for an internship program for an intern. So that would be a great way to give back too, because sometimes it's not your essays or what have you, but it has to do with experience.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And volunteering, and they can help make those connections is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's like another thing that I should mention is resume building or editing, and then also just like flat out helping, right? Like we get people jobs. Like I know of a girl who started working with your husband who's a doctor.
Yes.
So she went and she started working with you guys, and she connected with us through Assyrian Advisors and was looking for some work before she goes on to, I think she wants to do dental school or medical school or something. So she wanted to build her resume. We have, James Petros, who's an MD MBA, and he has all his medical centers. So he's a doctor who could help her out, and he got her a job. So that's the benefit of having like our network. We have people who have their own practices, who have their own firms.
Businesses, right?
Exactly, or businesses.
Right. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Thank you for that, because it actually saved us a huge recruiting fee, because it's hard to find great people, right?
Definitely.
And so thank you for setting that up. Yeah, I'm a real life have benefited from Assyrian Advisors, so thank you so much for that. Okay, wonderful. That sounds great. So I was told through a little birdie there's something wonderful coming to fruition. You're offering, and you kind of spearheaded again this with some other trusted Assyrians in the community that are very successful and thriving, and you've come up with a scholarship fund, correct?
Yeah. So
can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. It was I think I talked to you about it like when we last did the interview. So like it took a while to finally get there, but happy to.
But here you are.
Get the ball rolling. It's our first year doing it, so definitely room for growth. But what I'm alluding to is called the Assyrian Scholarship Initiative.
Okay.
And Assyrian Advisors partnered with Assyrian American National Federation, or ANF,
Great.
the folks who run convention. It's like the oldest Assyrian organization. We raised about 20 grand, exactly 20K, and we have 9 scholarships for 2 grand and 2 scholarships for 1 grand from a bunch of very generous donors.
Wonderful.
Which is amazing. Like for Assyrians to be putting up their own, putting their money where their mouth is and putting up capital to help young Assyrians with school. And also thanks to you guys, you and your husband, who put up some money as well. So we're thankful for that. That money is going to go to kids who might need to buy textbooks or register for an extra class or buy a laptop or whatever it might be. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
So we're incredibly excited to be rolling that out this year, and it's year 1. So in years to come, we're obviously anticipating that total amount in the pot to grow.
Yes, no, that's wonderful. Also, as many of you know, being a first generation Assyrian, meaning our parents, came to the States as immigrants. A lot of them were refugees because of the crises in the Middle East, and they really didn't have that hand holding, right? When I was going to school, I didn't have anyone to really give me the direction. A lot of these schools, these top universities here, Ivy League schools, if you will, they're legacy schools sometimes, right? And it's very, very difficult to get into these schools. So to have someone hold your hand and tell you and show you the way and what steps need to be taken to be set apart in a positive way amongst candidates or applicants is huge. So that putting that together is I can see how beneficial it is.
Yeah, I think that's a great point you just hit on. It's like, I'm like whatever first or second generation. My parents migrated from the Middle East here.
Yes.
I'm like
You're first generation.
First generation born here.
Yes.
Some people call it second gen or whatever. So, you know, we don't have a lot of the benefits as Assyrians. Like we don't have a lot of the benefits that, you know, people have had, families have had who have been here forever. And you mentioned legacy, like that often ends up happening is like parents went to XYZ school, grandparents went there, their parents
went there, yeah.
And on and on.
Story.
And like that is like, I think that the tacit knowledge that comes from that, specific knowledge that comes with like, how do you get into these schools and like, what do you do to navigate? Like those are very specific bits of advice that you can only get from people who've been there before.
In the trenches.
Exactly. So if you get a doctor, let's say James, who went to Tulane for his MD, like he knows stuff about what he needed to do to get there that others don't. And now young Assyrians have access to James. So if they want to go to Tulane or some other school, like they can see around corners that they wouldn't have been able to see around otherwise. So I think that piece of information, like the information that you get from our advisors is very unique and it's special. It's kind of like that legacy concept, except you have it now as a young Assyrian.
And it's crucial, right? Maybe if they didn't give that advice, that would never happen. So I'm sure also a lot of the conversations go hand in hand with, hey buddy, I did this, or I didn't do this, or hindsight, had I done this, I would have had a better shot at my dream college.
Exactly.
So they can kind of give them tips on maybe what to do, maybe what could have been perfected.
Exactly.
Right? That's wonderful. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Anything else you'd like to add about the Assyrian Scholarship Initiative?
I guess just, you know, we want people to apply. We've had about like in the first, it's been like a month maybe. We've had about 35, 40 people apply, which is pretty good, right? Yes. In month one, but you know, the semester is just starting for a lot of people, so we're assuming that more people are going to apply. Obviously, the more the better, right? We want to see the best people come to the surface. So, you know, make time, go through, and it's pretty straightforward. You write 2 essays. One essay is about you know, Assyrian nationalism in essence, and the other one is about how you plan on helping Assyrians with your career path after you've reached what you need to reach, right? So 2 short essays, read through like a basic agreement. We want to interview the people after we've read their stuff and we've evaluated them, and then, you know, just make sure you apply. It's a phenomenal opportunity. It's like several thousands at a time that you can get. And that's kind of unprecedented in the Assyrian community. So we're hoping to share that with our youth.
No, absolutely. And do you plan on showcasing or announcing those winners?
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to be actually working with ANB on this. We're going to be putting together a short documentary where we look at each of the students and kind of what the scholarship means to them, and then also how they plan on using the funds, and then further how they plan on helping other Assyrians in the future after they've, you know, risen to the helm of their career or whatever.
So basically, essentially reinvesting in that individual. Right?
Yeah, it's that virtuous cycle process, right? Like Assyrians helping Assyrians succeed.
I love that.
And then it doesn't just end at that, right? Like after you've been helped, there is like an expectation on goodwill that you're going to return the favor.
That's right.
No one's forcing you to do it, right? But the expectation is like, hey, like you've been helped by other Assyrians. They did you a solid. They did something good for you. You should do the same. And also, like, it's loving your own people, and they need it. It's not like we're a group of people who has everything figured out. Like we're often struggling. So it's important to acknowledge that and help out your own.
Absolutely, and band together and grow our nation.
Exactly.
Right? And my God, when I go on your website and I saw all those advisors, truly I was so proud of the Assyrian community for having such amazing, brilliant scholars. And sometimes people are not born with all this talent, but they worked hard to get to where they're at. And you're kind of putting the frosting on that cupcake and realizing their dreams. And that's really commendable and just so profound to me. So I have another question that's kind of on my mind. I just started thinking, well, my goodness, there's all these wonderfully successful entrepreneur doctors, entrepreneur engineers, or engineers working for amazing companies, very cutting edge stuff, right? So is there a way that they can kind of network with each other? Because that only seems that would be natural, right? So not only are the advisors giving back to novice Assyrians, if you will, wanting to realize their dreams, but then I feel like there's a networking ability here, opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's like that's something I definitely want to talk about. That's something that's often unseen. It's like our core competency is advisors helping advisees, like our advisors help, or professionals helping young Assyrians.
Yes.
But there's another side of it that I think is often unseen, which is advisors networking amongst themselves, like the intra-networking that happens amongst advisors, which is amazing, like for business opportunities.
Absolutely.
I can give you an example. Recently, and this has happened many times actually, which is awesome. It's continuing to grow. But one guy, OD, had reached out. He's from Canada. He's like he has some master's degree in bioengineering. He started a biotech company in Canada. He wanted help with raising capital.
Okay.
So one of our senior advisors, Gloria, has a tech accelerator called Silicon Valley Advantage. I hooked him up with her and one of our other advisors, Dominique, who's a former investment banker. She worked at Goldman Sachs, and now she does like venture capital work. So we did an introductory email, connected them. But the idea is that like it doesn't just stop at, oh, I want to get into a good school or I want to get career advice. It's also like if you have a business or you're looking to get into business, or you are looking for help from other advisors within the network after you've already become a professional.
Or second opinion,
Exactly.
Yes.
Our network is extremely strong, and there are a lot of benefits that can be gained from joining.
And another benefit that happened to us in our medical practice, our medical organization, is real life story, and we couldn't be more thankful. We were able to recruit, with the aid of Assyrian Advisors, a wonderful associate to our practice. And she's Assyrian, so it feels so good to give an opportunity to Assyrians, right? To have them flourish and thrive. So I thought that was really wonderful. Not only are you advising the youth of Assyrians to get into top schools and to kind of think outside the box and how they can be separated in a positive way, because that's what really matters with all these applications coming in. Two, there's a networking that's going on amongst these advisors for themselves. For example, let's say someone has something phenomenal to take IPO. Well, we have an investment banker that can help you. We have a Silicon Valley startup
accelerator.
Thank you. Help me out here. Accelerator. Yeah. And now, not only that, but hey, if someone's looking for a job and they are out of school, there's opportunity for that.
Exactly.
For hiring opportunities. So I think you're hitting 3 buckets with one. And I'm just really proud of you and amazed of how much you've grown since the last time we were here.
Yeah, thanks.
No, absolutely. So while we're talking about networking, let's talk about any future networking events. Have you done anything in the past or anything that's on the horizon to come?
Yeah, so in 2019, I believe we did a networking event at Assyrian National Convention, again with the help of Assyrian American National Federation and Assyrian Arts Institute. And by the way, just a quick shout out to Martin Umaran, the president of ANF. He was incredibly helpful with the scholarship initiative, and he helped me a ton. His team, Joseph Denavi, Carolyn Odishu.
Oh, that's wonderful.
All of them are awesome.
Yes, a big thanks to them.
I love ANF. So we did our first networking event in 2019 at in Palm Springs, and we had like a huge turnout. I was really happy with that, and we had a couple of speakers come out and some of our senior advisors and other advisors and professionals talk about just the organization, also some motivational things. And it was also an art gallery, so they were able to look at art and the network and chit chat.
It's wonderful,
which is really nice because you want to also like engage with people, right? Like there are other Assyrians that are professionals, and you want to get to know them and learn from them and create a connection, a lasting connection over time. So we have done that before, and we will do that. Obviously, COVID affected things. But as time goes on, we plan on doing like bigger ones in different places, and even sometimes doing some that are more intimate for our network of just advisors, and then also the bigger ones where we can do those that are advisors and advisees or other youth or people who just want to meet our advisors.
Absolutely. So connecting advisors by location, having a few mixtures coming up where they're able to meet each other and see how they can give back value to one another, right?
Exactly.
That's wonderful. So, like I said, this is amazing stuff, Bruneil. I'm really proud of you. I'm excited to be part of it. Thank you for having me here to ask you these great questions that really take a deep dive into Assyrian Advisors. I think you're doing an amazing job, and I wish something like this was around when I was 18, 20 years old. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or anything you want to comment on?
Yeah, I think a few things. One thing is like just as an overarching purpose thing, like Assyrian Advisors is meant to help Assyrians rise up through social mobility, through the power of their education.
Yes.
I think like it's a often an empty platitude or just like something that's said all the time, but like knowledge is power, and it really is. Like what you do in your career as a professional is beyond just like making money, right? Like that's having a lot of wherewithal, and like money and helping Assyrians is important, but like beyond that is like the power that you can gather through your education, helping other Assyrians. Like I think being influential,
right.
And also like, you know, as you improve your station in life, carrying up other Assyrians, because it's not enough or okay to succeed on your own. Like I think there should be, and it's a little controversial, but there should be an expectation for you to also help out other Assyrians. It's not enough for you to succeed alone. An obligation,
yeah.
It's a duty, yeah.
It's a duty. It really is a duty. Yes. So when you're doing all this, you're committing to the whole spectrum of things, right? Really giving back in all the multiple ways you said that one can.
Exactly. And Assyrians are like some of the most brilliant. I've dealt with like, you know, whether it be at the top law firms or the top law schools or whatever it might be, like some of the people I deal with within the Syrian community are like shockingly intelligent, like phenomenally intelligent, and like have such an amazing future ahead of them. So
definitely,
it's extremely rewarding to me to be a part of it and to be around people like this. So I'd say, please join our organization. Please use our services. And also, if I may, just the way you do it, go to AssyrianAdvisors.com. Email us at request@AssyrianAdvisors.com or info@AssyrianAdvisors.com to connect with an advisor. Or if you want to become an advisor, do the same. Follow us on Instagram at Assyrian_advisors, or find us on Facebook or LinkedIn at Assyrian Advisors.
And all this information is going to be provided on the screen below, so make sure you jot it down so you can actually benefit and put this in action. So Bruneil, I just want to thank you so much for being here tonight. I want to just applaud you for really giving back to our Assyrian community. I'm really proud of you, and I'm excited to be part of Assyrian Advisors. I know firsthand what it's done for us, and it's just such a great feeling to give back, right? To really just invest in someone's life and livelihood in their career. So with that, I wanted to thank you viewers for joining in. I hope you had a really wonderful opportunity to really grasp and understand really what Assyrian Advisors are, what it is, and it's a free program. So it's a win-win. So thank you so much, and we will be back with another episode and some more progress. Hopefully we'll be covering another event or the scholarship, announcing those names in the very near future. So thank you again. I'm Ilbra Petros, and this is Bruneil, and just wanted to thank you for joining in. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.
Push 'em, Shanna.
Bye-bye.